I'm gonna give the countdown right now, so that everybody shows some hype. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Smurf, go.
Smurf.
Pretty sure he started. I'm gonna pull up the stream now. So this is a Banjo-Kazooie run, the better of the two Banjo games, clearly. Basically, right away, he's going to. I believe so before the run started, he set up a Furnace Fun moves, which means that as soon as he enters into the first dungeon or the first level, he's going to have all the moves. Right here, he's struggling with the. Well, he got second try jump to get up the fence there, which that's kind of a finicky jump, and I failed it when I was doing the tournament that I was in, and people were making fun of me on it. So, screw the Haganator and any haters, the Lazy Bear Banjo who was hating. But this is a 100% run, so he's going to have to collect all the honeycombs, which he's doing in Spiral Mountain now. It's pretty straightforward. Here you don't have any of the Talon Trot movement, which you'll be seeing throughout the game once he gets into the first level. He did get the honeycomb jump there, which rolls pretty deep. It's a pretty tight jump where you basically have to flutter at a specific moment or else you won't get up the line, and you have to jump at a certain angle. But all the top runners, such as Hellfoes, pretty much nail it every time. So if we have any Rollin Deep donations, I will read those off. If we get any subscriptions, I will read those off. And this is Rollin Deep Marathon 3. This is the Greenleaf here. This is the Greenleaf production. And this is one of my favorite games, so I'm pretty hyped up for this. So he did get the bottle skip. A lot of the top runners don't really seem to fail that very often. Basically, you can jump onto the platform that Bottles is on, and there's a zone, like an area where he won't come out and give you a bunch of text boxes, and you basically jump on that area and then flutter over him. It's basically when you land on that platform anywhere on the zones where it'll, like beside any other spot but that little spot that he basically jumped on, it'll trigger Bottles to come out. So he's going to enter into Mumbo's Mountain, and he's going to, right when he gets in there, the Furnace Fun moves will kick in. And what Furnace Fun moves is basically when you game over in Furnace Fun on a previous file, and I mean, we just saw a New Game Plus run with Yu-Gi-Oh! Search Read, and it's basically that, and it got accepted for the any percent routing, and the community decided to allow it, and it basically gives him all the moves that he had on the previous file. And the three moves that he won't have are the blue eggs, the gold feathers, and red feathers, and that's because he wants to learn those moves because he gets half of those items when he learns them. So he'll get 50 blue eggs, and he'll get, I think is 100, no, it's 25 red feathers, 10 gold feathers, and 50 blue eggs that he'll get from Bottles for learning those moves. So here he's going to do the Rollin Deep mountain climb here, and basically he's abusing the slope jump, which is in 1.0 cartridge of the game. The termite kind of trolled him there, and I like to take that termite out, but I think at a top level you just kind of remain in Talon Trot to try to, get like the best movement in as possible, but kind of backfired on him. That's fine. It's fine. So he's rolling deep. So with all the moves learned, it definitely sets up a different routing, because normally you would have to come up here, learn Talon Trot. I mean, it was found in, I think, 2013, so I mean, it's been a while since runs have been done without the Furnace Fun moves, so it was interesting, because I was into Banjo-Kazooie speedrunning before the Furnace Fun moves got found. So shout out to Smasher, and he's got a tutorial on it, and if you're looking to pick up speedrunning the game, you'd probably want to watch that Rollin Deep tutorial with Smasher. I'm pretty sure Hellfoes will snipe Conga here with a blue egg on the side. So basically, you don't really have to see him on screen, you just have to aim and shoot. Actually, he's not going... Well, yeah, he is. He'll snipe the final shot. And, like, really good runners only shoot out one egg. People like me shoot out multiple eggs because, you know, we're scrubs. Scrub Busted needs to tell me to stop falling shallow with that. But on those mountains, you know, the easiest level and it's the quickest level. All the jiggies are like the level's just really small, and there's not a lot of like difficult jiggies. You'll just be seeing a little bit of attack here. He's going to try to basically on the 5th Jinjo. He's going to collect the Jinjo and then jump in the water, and what that'll do is basically it'll cancel the animation of Banjo, like celebrating or the when the jingle happens, and basically he'll be able to skip one of the celebrations of getting the Piggy. Fuck. And what you saw previously there was a water drop, and basically when you are in Talon Trot and cancel out, it's a specific way you can drop to the bottom of the water. He did definitely get the Jinjo jingle skip, and that was pretty deep. It saves something around 10 seconds, I can't remember, but it's a pretty significant time save. And here's gonna go Termiteless to get this Jiggy on top of the overworld Mumbo's Mountain. He gets it like flawlessly and super fast, super clean. So coming up is Treasure Trove Cove, and that's where you really get to see, you know, the more advanced players save a bunch of time on the intermediate and novice player, beginning players, because there's a lot of flight movement in TTC, and flying in this game is it's not easy to do optimally, but you'll see a lot of the top players just do very well and excel in that. I know Hellfoes is definitely a great player, so I'm expecting some a pretty solid TTC here. And I mean, we're talking like you save minutes on this level if you have good movement. So I mean, previously before Furnace Fun moves, you wouldn't have the spring jump there, and you'd have to come back here to open up Clinker's Cavern. But now that we have that, we basically just do that along the way, and that saves a good chunk of time, not having to go back down there as well. So here's TTC, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, some people kind of have different routings depending on their skill level, and because this is a pretty massive level here. There's a lot of stuff to do. And so some people have different routes, and some people decide to go for more difficult strats and stuff. Like you saw when he got that blue Jinjo, he fluttered and then it just pushed him enough underwater to grab the, so he didn't actually have to submerge underwater and then resubmerge, and that definitely saved a bit of time. And water movement as well is quite interesting in this game. If you hold the R button, you can get more, like you can turn better under the water and you can have better movement. So I didn't know that until more recently, and like water movement, basically you just hold B and then like Kazooie will do the fast movement, but then like controlling underwater can be tricky for some people. And then getting consistent like water drops like you're seeing Hellfoes do, it takes practice, but all the top players just nail it like on command, so it saves a lot of time not having to submerge and swim under the bottom of the water if you can just drop down immediately. He didn't get the good spawn with Blubber where he just spawns the Jiggy right where he's at, which saves a bit of time because you have to move over. And while Blubber's walking away, basically you'll start up the animation of collecting that Jiggy there, and that saves a little bit of time. But there's a lot of like really small, minuscule time saves that just add up along the run. Like here, he's trying to stay midair while collecting this Jiggy, which he did successfully. Yeah, like his movement, his flight movement's just really good so far, and you can tell like if you watch a newer player, it's really hard to have good movement. So we are rolling deep in the Rolling Deep Marathon 3. We got your boy Hellfoes doing some Banjo-Kazooie 100% with this green leaf production. We're on the green leaf island. So I mean, you notice, so when he grabs Jiggies while in the air, there's no animation that plays, so you want to collect as many Jiggies without having a celebration of collecting the Jiggy, and he just, the one on top of that lighthouse, sometimes you'll, like it's really hard to collect it without landing, and if you land you have to, you know, go through the animation of getting the Jiggy, and that's really, it's a time save that just keeps stacking up the more Jiggies you collect and don't have to play the jingle when you get it. And so Snacker that's coming up here, your Snipper, he's gonna clip in a Snipper right in between his eyes and basically get 3 quick hits in. Because there's basically a text box that comes up when you approach Nipper, and during that text box, like you have iframes and basically drop down and go straight in there, and then you can abuse that entirely, and you don't have to wait for him to, you know, extend his claws and do all that shit. So I'm not sure about how Hellfoes routes collecting A's and collecting feathers, but you definitely want to keep an eye on that throughout the run, because feathers get pretty tight, and so when you make mistakes like in flight or something, or you start missing egg shots, it starts to become a problem because you have to route in some extra eggs or feathers into the run. But the TTC's been pretty solid so far. Barking it up.
Working it up.
So this end part here is like the trickiest flight movement, and Hellfoes like nailed it. Which basically you want to what's the move called? Midair. Beak bomb. You want to beak bomb specifically, like straight to the honeycomb, and you also want to remain in flight while collecting the Jiggy and the Jinjo. And he did all of that like clean, and it's not very easy to do when you first start playing the game. But Hellfoes is a pretty solid speedrunner. I mean, before he did Banjo-Kazooie runs, he played Wind Waker, and he had a very good time in Wind Waker. He was, I believe, 3rd place. I'm not sure where he's at now on the leaderboards because there's a lot of new stuff. Well, he hasn't played Wind Waker in a while, but he's a pretty well-rounded speedrunner. And he does get the Death Warp while collecting the Jiggy and saves about 10 seconds there at the end of TTC, so that's rolling insanely deep. But the fucking grunt knocked him off, and he's struggling to get up here. That's it's really bad enemy RNG, and it's unfortunate. So he's rolling into Clanker's Cavern, and we'll see how that goes. This is basically a lot of swimming. This is an underwater level for the most part, so you'll see a lot of different. It's actually a pretty slow level as far as like swimming is slow in general, and a lot of it you just have to swim slowly to what you need to get. But at the end of the route of Clinker's Cavern, basically he's going to set up for Death Warp to bring him back to the beginning warp, because it's well out of the way to go all the way back. But it's definitely a level where if you speedrun it at a high level compared to, a beginner or something, like you'll notice that beginners also lose a lot of time here on advanced players just by not having good swimming movement or just not understanding the mechanics of the game. And there is like a bolt jump or something like that where you have to jump on top and then jump onto this pipe and then ground pound to get onto it, and it's really like it's super tight, and you will most likely see Hellfoes just nail that, so which a lot of beginning players just can't get it at all. As far as what we have left on the schedule here, after this Banjo-Kazooie run we're going to have, Demco roll up insanely fresh with a GoldenEye 007 N64 individual level, and it's going to be fresh. It's going he said 53 to 55 seconds of just pure adrenaline. So I'm pretty hyped for that. After that, we're going to have Daniel 1RD. He's going to roll in with a couple of Dragon Ball Z runs, starting with Dragon Ball Z Legendary Super Warriors on the Game Boy Color. And that's basically a card-based fighting game, and it's pretty sick. I snagged the world record for any percent, but he's going to be showing you Future Trunks Story, which is a much shorter category. And it consists of a lot of good luck, and he's going to be possibly resetting to get that. Reset. But it's going to be a solid run. After that, he's going to be doing Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which is a newer Dragon Ball Z game I haven't really played, and it'll be a nice showing from him. I'm pretty sure he's possibly the only one who runs the game, or one of the few people that run that game. And then we'll have Vixie roll in with Resident Evil 2 on the PC with the Leon A run. And then we're going to have Zera and Teal Summer Nights come in with Pixel Lines DX on the Android/Switch. So apparently that's going to be a super hype run. Lots of excitement. I don't know much about Teal Summer Nights, but sounds pretty hype, and we'll finish it out with a Yoshi's Island race, which anybody is honestly welcome to join that. So if you want to be a part of that, just let us know, and we can get it set up, and we'll be showcasing the top 4 runners, or the top 4 people that are in the lead of that race. We're going to be having Void, most likely, who's actually really good, and then we'll be having people like me who are just drunk out of their minds and, having a shit show, but it'll be a good shit show to watch.
Whoa.
Whoa.
She's rolling in.
I just rolled in out of bed.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be, like Zero just mentioned in the chat, the Pixel Lines run will be the perfect opportunity to start drinking and get drunk for the Yoshi race. So that's going to be, and right before that, I'm going to do a chug during Demco's, power 53 second to 55 second power run. It's going to be an adrenaline rush. And this Banjo-Kazooie run is going very well. Demco has been, Hellfoes has been displaying why he's, on the top of the leaderboards with this game. So you do have Stivity Bobo, obviously, that everyone knows plays this game, but my boy Hellfoes is underrated and is pretty close to his. I wouldn't say like on his skill level, but not far behind Stiv's skill level, which is pretty impressive given that Stiv just dominates this game so much, but yeah, I know I'm going to be screwed for work tomorrow, but this is the final day of the Rollin Deep Marathon, and we've had pretty exquisite runs so far today. Scrub Bus's run exclusively was quite the trip. And then we had Miss Honor roll insanely deep with the Ham games. So what Hellfoes did in that room with all the green crabs, he basically killed off the last crab with an egg, and he was able to climb up and get straight to where the Jiggy was going to spawn and start the animation immediately during like the cut, like so it overlapped. So that's that's a lot of times what you're doing is overlapping cutscenes and overlapping things that take time and stop. Stop when you can't control your character. You basically want to utilize that as much as possible and try to stack them up, and that happens a lot in this game. And this is a pretty goddamn solid Clanker's Cavern. Aside from the overworld where he got screwed over by a moblin, this has gone very well. And he's going to be death warping underwater, and that'll take him back to the beginning of the level, and that is the quickest thing to do. And here's where the run, in my opinion, starts to get really interesting. After Clanker's Cavern, you've got a lot of difficult levels and execution. So this is where Hellfoes will be displaying a lot of skill, and it's going to be very impressive. Definitely to me, because I've done runs of the game. And I know how difficult some of the stuff coming up is going to be.
How did the Pokemon game go?
Well, Hito just bent me over and I accepted it, so it really wasn't. It wasn't anything surprising. It's something that you already knew was going to happen. I just said, okay, I'll take it all the way deep, and shut up and took it, and that was it. I took all 3 Dugtrios right where they wanted to put it. So what Hellfoes is doing here, he didn't take out. Oh, he took out the web right at the last minute during running towards it to get it, and he took out the eye here. Now he's going to do a clip, I believe, an early Freeze EZP clip. And he messed it up on the first try, and that's going to cost him a minute. Unfortunately, you have to. So it's pretty similar to the clip in Click Clock Woods, where you go through the beaver's house, and this one basically right in the corner where that ramp comes up, and right where he's gonna clip out of bounds, and he's gonna get to a warp zone this way, so he'll get to where Freezy's the peak early, and you basically have to descend to a certain spot. You have to hold up on your flight and then beak bomb out of bounds. And he failed it the second time as well, unfortunately. And the biggest problem is it's a pretty big time loss. And had he been doing an RTA run, that would have been the console reset right there. But in the marathon setting, he has to just kind of eat it up and get through this. I feel for him because this is a very difficult strat, and it's not very marathon safe, and people like Stiv make it look a lot easier than it is. But and Hellfoes, he knows what he's doing, so I have faith. But he has failed it the third time, and I'm sure it's starting to become frustrating. As time starts to stack up, and he's not getting this clip, but it saves a good amount of time. If he gets it. There, okay, he got it there. So he clipped out of bounds, and then he's going to go to where the warp zone is to go into Freezy Peak, and he enters Freezy Peak without putting the jiggies in and in the puzzle and opening the door. He doesn't have to do that, and he just slips in. So now he's in Freezy Peak. That definitely took a chunk of time out of this run by not getting it first try, but he's still going to have a pretty solid overall time, which is, you know, it's good stuff. I might have to fire up some crispy and crunchy taquitos. Because I'm pretty sure the only thing that's going to be entering my body after that is going to be some alcohol, and maybe try to eat a little bit before that all happens. But this is the final day of the marathon. If you have not subscribed to the marathon, if you have not donated, you have not, you know, put some bits like right in my mouth, now is your chance. I mean, before the marathon is over, for me to be able to read them off, and I'm here, and I'm down to read off any donations and make sure that her pussy gets finished up good back there. Finish her pussy good. And the tier 1 emote, the sub emote, has gone through, which is awesome. The gay Smurf Peekin emote is here. The other two are still in the works, so I'm not sure what they're going to be yet. We have to discuss what they're going to be. But Freezy Peak here, going all right as soon as he got in here. But the clip into Freezy Peak was unfortunate.
Oh.
I'm gonna roll into the other channel for a bit, Peter.
What?
And okay, so right last minute, Hellfoes won the race versus Boggy. Basically, that has a huge rubber band effect, where, like, if you're behind him the whole most of the race, he'll go slow, and if you're ahead of him most of the race, like, he'll just like speed up really quickly, and it's likely that he'll just go faster than you can go at the end if you don't do that right. And you also want to collect a lot of the notes and a lot of the stuff along the way during that race, and it looked like he did that successfully. Not a lot of the beginning runners can collect all the notes and stuff and win the race, so it's a little bit tricky, but it's pretty much it's like one of those things where if you practice it, it's scripted. It's not like it's gonna surprise you or anything. If you do the same thing every time, it should come out the same. Just like these taquitos should come out, you know.
Beep.
But yeah, Hellfoes has a pretty solid time. I think he's going for 2:06 now or better, and it's really nice. It's a pretty solid time overall. He did PB, I think, 2 weeks ago, a week ago, or 2 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure he's not on PB pace here with this run, unfortunately, but he's still showcasing a pretty solid display. And really happy that he could join the marathon because I'm a big fan of Banjo-Kazooie speedruns, so shout outs to Hellfoes.
Slam it.
So for the second, well, hey, race with Boggy. He's collecting all the things he didn't get on the first run around, and like the green Jinjo behind that house. And I mean, you're noticing he's letting Boggy stay in front of him for a good portion of it. And that's so at the end he doesn't just like clip right in front of him and knock him over. Yeah, so it was kind of he cut him off at basically at the end. He stayed in front. He won the race. Some people, if you screw up like your movement right at the end, he could easily cut you off and lose that race. I lost my last PB, my previous PB run. Like, I would have PB'd, but I lost 2 Boggy races on my last attempt during one of the tournament races. So that's actually killed one of my PBs by losing 2 Boggy races. I mean, it's still almost PB'd with those 2 losses, so my PB's pretty trash right now. And here at the end, he has just enough honeycombs to take damage under the freezing water, collect the final honeycomb upgrade, and Death Warp.
Death Warp fight.
Bring him back to the beginning. So it was all intentioned. There he goes right through the closed door that he didn't even open Freezy Peak, but he was able to do that anyway. And with the new routing, basically you do Bubble Goop Swamp later in the run, where we used to do it at this point, but because of the Freeze Easy Peak clip, you're going to be seeing Bubble Goop Swamp after Click Clock Woods, which is the new routing. So he's going to be doing Gobi's Valley shortly, and that is a very technical level. Right off, you have the Gobi clip, and the Gobi clip is a bit finicky at times, and you're taking damage while trying to do it while in the quicksand. And so if you can't get it right away, you get a nice little Death Warp pipe. But I expect Hellfoes to have a pretty solid Gobi skip here. I mean, there's a lot of flight movement in this level too, and a lot of like there's advanced strats like all over in Gobis, and like even some of the best runners make mistakes here and lose time. You're going for pretty difficult stuff. Like here with the gold rings that he's got, the Sphinxes with the gold rings. Like basically, if you adjust the camera on a certain angle, you can make it so they spawn a certain way. And their spawns are going to be random where they spawn, how they spawn. By adjusting the camera in a specific way, you can basically jump through that without having to get the wings. And here he's going to roll deep and get the Gobi clip. And didn't get it first try. Got it second try though. That's pretty decent. Crispy. So, a lot of the Banjo-Kazooie community and runners take a guess on what kind of time that they're going to get on the puzzle, like how many seconds the timer's going to be at. I'm guessing this is going to be a 68 for this memory match puzzle game here. He's gonna roll deep. You got a 67. Hyper Essence guessed correctly. I had more faith in my boy. Guys, give me a 68. Yeah, I think somebody should gift Hyper Essence a sub for that correct guess. So these are not the best spawns, I think. I'm not entirely sure. That might have been a good spawn. But he's gonna get this Jiggy here with a big bomb straight into the hand, and he gets it. He wants to remain in the air. He did. Now, Zelda is not on commentary, unfortunately. That would have been a good co-commentator. Yeah! The Hellfoes is in the snake's lair. He's going to put some eggs into the bucket here and climb up and grab that Jiggy. No, then he's gonna big bomb over here and it's gonna save some time. He's gonna give him a bear hug. Not sure what Zalma is doing today. Would be cool if he would join the Yoshi race, but then again, I don't think he drinks, so he would farm us all. Okay. So here he wants to remain in flight after collecting this Gobi's Jiggy right here. He wants to grab the... Okay, he didn't remain in flight. And what that'll do is basically you won't have to do that animation. You can fly right back over here and This maze right here, you gotta collect all the notes and get to the top. Basically, if you have a couple seconds worth of mistakes climbing this, you might not make the cycle and have to do it again. But somebody like Hellfoes probably hasn't had that happen to where he doesn't make this cycle, like ever. But some people have struggle with collecting the notes and getting in there. And as soon as he grabs that Jiggy, it's going to drain all the water, so you want to have everything done without the water being there, because there were flight pads here, which down there that he wanted to utilize, so that's why you do this later in Gobi's Valley, not sooner. I am kind of keeping an eye on his egg and feather count. He had under 20 of both. The feathers, I would say, are typically more tight than the eggs, especially since Hellfoes failed getting the Freeze Easy Peak clip a few times. He had to use the flight pad a few extra times and use some more feathers that he probably didn't want to. So I'm interested to see. I mean, I think he picked up a couple there. I'm not sure if he normally does or not. I'm not sure what his normal route is to collect all the items, but I'm sure he's also keeping an eye on that and whatnot. He's gonna get on top of here. Looks like he got it. That was very, very clean. Very clean. Rollin, dude. With the labyrinth skip. That was very nice. There's basically a little slope glitch manipulation there, where you get to a specific spot where that slope is, and you can get another jump off, get on top of the labyrinth, and jump over the maze. There, he dropped to the bottom of the water. I haven't seen him fail like any water drops in this run, nor do I think he ever really does that, because he's a pretty damn good player. And he's swimming in a specific way here so that he gets the Jinjo first, so he doesn't have to wait for the like if you collect the Jinjo, then collect the Jiggy, you'll stop there and you'll wait a little bit. So he does that. He gets the Jinjo and then spawns the Jiggy, and then goes back around and gets it on the second lap around in that water. So that's a specific way he like a specific spot he drops down, and a specific way he swims around that every time, so that he does that the fastest way possible. And also, when you have the running shoes on, you also skip Jiggy animations, so he's going to collect these two. He did fall in the water, unfortunately, there. But he gets back up and rolls deep once again. Some of these jumps, like up the Sphinx, can be kind of finicky, but if you know what you're doing, you kind of jump like in the corner, and you get a bit more height. So basically, he's gonna he grabs that Jinjo right there, Jiggy, and doesn't get the animation with the running shoes on, and he collects the rest of the stuff here, and then he's gonna death warp after collecting all the notes here in the quicksand, and he's probably keeping an eye on his health. And if you are short on health, which he's probably gonna use a gold feather if so, or he's gonna roll deep. No, he's gonna use a gold feather to make sure he gets all the notes before he dies, and played it a bit safer than just going all out and trying to get all those notes. Because if you die with 99 notes, you'll have to come back and do the whole level. You'll have to collect all 100 notes all over again. So in a marathon, that would just be a mess. I mean, just to point out like how badly things can go in a marathon setting in a Banjo-Kazooie run. If you fail to collect all 100 notes and you die at some point, which, I mean, you might, like in Rusty Bucket Bay is more of a place where that might happen, but luckily it's mostly at the beginning of the level there, and it's because you get screwed with the blades and fall down. But like there, for example, if he would have just gone for it and not used the gold feather there, he might have likely died with 90, 98, or 99 notes. And basically, he'd have to go back and recollect all 100 notes again, and that would take, like over 5 minutes, I would say. And so there are some, situations where in a marathon, Banjo-Kazooie runs can go pretty sour. Here, I know he goes for the fish damage boost here. I went for it as well when I ran the game. It's pretty easy. And he'll be going into Mad Monster Mansion, which is my favorite level, personally. So that's pretty hype. And shout outs to everyone holding it down. If you want to know what's next up on the schedule, we have Demko rolling in with a GoldenEye IL individual level run. It's only going to be a 53 to 55 second rolling deep showcase there, which I will be chugging a beer or two. We'll see. Hopefully we get that on camera. That is going to be very hype. Followed by my boy 1RD Daniel. He's going to be holding it down with some Dragon Ball Z. A couple runs there. He's got Legendary Super Warriors on the Game Boy Color, and then he's got Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2. Haven't really seen a run of that, so that'll be interesting. And then we're going to have Vix rolling in with Resident Evil 2. I think she was here earlier, but muted herself because I was just rolling too deep and, with his commentary. And then we're going to have Teal Summer Nights and Zare the Man for the warm-up. Everybody get drunk and get fucked up right before the final Rolling Deep race with the Rolling Deep crew. We're going to have Yoshi's Island, and I'll be partaking in that shit show right at the end of the marathon. And we could possibly even have KBZ Rolling Deep with a bonus run of Donkey Kong Country Warpless if we can get I think it's 4 more subs. We have 16 and we're shooting for 20 subs. If we hit the 20 sub goal, we will most likely have KBZ roll deep with a bonus run. So here, this is Mad Monster's Mansion. This is my personal favorite level. I like the music here, and I like the dark environment of Mad Monster Mansion. Like the eerie setting here. Now, I know Hellfoes does go for a specific skip inside the mansion where there's a Jiggy with the ghost, and you can basically it's a very I would be very, very hype if he gets it. Like I might I might have to do something crazy if he gets it. Basically, when he grabs the Jiggy, it's a very, very specific skip inside the mansion, and when he grabs the Jiggy, he'll grab it. I think it's in Talon Trot, and so he'll be holding onto the Jiggy with his hand. The bear will be holding the Jiggy, and he'll skip the animation for it. I'm pretty sure he's capable of doing this, and if he gets it, it's a very, very tricky skip. It saves just one animation, Jiggy animation, to get it. And it takes a minute. It takes a couple seconds to set it up, most likely. But if he gets it, it'll be very hype, and it's coming up right now. So I'm looking out for that. He did not get it. And I honestly couldn't explain entirely how that works, but basically if you grab the Jiggy in a certain way, it'll basically skip that whole anime, and you'll be holding onto the Jiggy on Talontrot, and it rolls insane. I've seen Dickish Khan do it before in a tournament race, and I know Hellfoes was trying to go for it there, which is why he like jumped towards the Jiggy in a specific way and tried to do it. So here he's also going to jump over the labyrinth, and so basically from this side of the labyrinth, the gate is locked and you can't open it from this side. But he's going to jump onto the honey box and then jump onto the top of the labyrinth and then jump over the wall here. And he was up there and he fell. And he fell again. Come on. It's not a very easy thing to do. And he's definitely like going all out, like balling out of control. He gets a third try. Still pretty solid. He's now putting all the eggs into the pot here to grab all the flowers. He's going to leave the last one for the end when he comes up here later. And he's really short on eggs. He doesn't have enough! He doesn't have enough eggs! So he's going to have to come back to that pot. He's going to have to go to the bitch room. He's going to have to go to the stockpile room with Banjo and Kazooie. This is going to cost him a second. And he grabs one. He rolls in and grabs one egg and rolls out. He's feeling good about that one egg.
Feeling good.
He doesn't even grab more than one. He just goes and grabs one egg and leaves. And he's dropping it in. And he said he kind of made sure that he got it. But he did run out of eggs there. And he specifically grabbed one egg in that room and left. Like, he didn't even grab one. There was more eggs to grab. And he said no. So I knew he was short on eggs and feathers, so that's why I say it's pretty tight. All top tier speedrunners of this game know how tight the feather and egg situation is going to be throughout the run. And there we had a situation where the eggs were short on eggs. And so we'll see how that affects him later in the run, having 0 eggs at the moment. Here it looks like he kind of, I'm not sure, I think he's on the right cycle with the, or maybe not. I don't think he's on the specific cycle where the purple ghost goes around in a certain way and you hit all these letters and you know when he's coming around. Basically, if done right, you don't have to wait. And also he's grabbing a lot of the notes while doing that and jumping off and jumping back on. And it's all a specific, like, when done a specific way, the purple ghost moves around the same way each time, and you know when he's coming, and you know how to handle that. Here, we're going to roll deep. And, previously, I guess it is a long time ago now, but it doesn't seem that long to me. We used to go as Banjo into the well and do everything, but now we end up death warping with the pumpkin. So typically we actually used to jump over the wall back there and then go into the well as Banjo. Within the more recent route, we death warp as the pumpkin in the well. Here coming up is the cathedral. So I also recently did learn when I did the tournament how to do the how to play the organ without waiting for the hand, and it saves a good chunk of time. So basically, you hit the keys the same way each time, and you know which ones to hit. I have a diagram written down myself. Of which keys to hit. Like, I basically drew all the keys to this organ, and then I written like what number you have to hit them in, and so he will not be holding up and waiting up on the hand here. He will be just pushing the keys. And then he also, I believe, See, I'm not sure entirely. Even some of the good runners like sometimes the good runners do different things in a marathon setting than they would in an RTA run. I'm not sure as far as is he gonna go to the try to get this Jiggy midair? Is he gonna skip that, or is he going to just grab the Jiggy along the way of just collecting these notes? I'm not sure. It's really player preference because I know you skip that animation while collecting it midair, but it can be very tricky to do, and that's if you do it. Like, you have to be pretty precise for that to possibly even be any faster to collect that Jiggy while midair. And then I know a lot of the beginner players will ground pound on the top here, and then that will reduce. You'll get no fall damage. You'll basically drop down, and you won't fall. But it's a slower drop. And here he's going to flutter, basically the last second, or the last few frames possible. And what that does is basically reduce the damage, because you will lose all your health there if you fall down all the way from the top, and then you'll have to recollect all the notes again. So I mean, like I said, some players prefer to do their marathon runs a lot safer in Banjo-Kazooie, because the penalty of making some of these mistakes is pretty big. So he only has 2 blue eggs at the moment. I know he's really short on eggs. We'll see how that comes up later and affects the run. And he is coming up to the pumpkin segment of Mad Monster Mansion, which is at the very end. So he's going to be wrapping up Mad Monster Mansion. Made a few mistakes, lost a bit of time. Primarily to running out of eggs was the biggest mistake. And then a couple of other little things. So not the best Mad Monsters Mansion, but it's still my favorite level, so shout-outs to MMM.
Slam at the door.
Oh yeah.
Flush it down.
Well, looks like Zelna just got out of the bathroom and is going to join us here on commentary. No! So, Zelna, what do you think about this run?
It's going pretty good. The boy Hellfoes is he's going at a pretty fast pace here. He's just rolling out of he's gonna do a death warp here. He's gonna abuse the death here to save some frames.
Death warp.
He's gonna run right into that tentacle and take a nice little death warp. Is it gonna be pretty good?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty fresh death warp.
Blah, blah.
Spark it up.
Spark it up.
And so if that death warp wasn't enough for you, here we're going to have a reset.
Oh, hell fucking yeah, dude.
because it saves time, because there's a little cutscene that plays out here, and as soon as there's a specific time during the fade out, like, you know when you can reset your console, and you will have this water raised up. And if you reset too early, I think it's just like rip entirely, because you can't, like, the button is pressed, but you can never raise the water, so you're like, it's like glitched. So if you reset too early, you're fucked, and if you do it too late, I mean, you're just slow rolling at that point and wasting time. So, I mean, rip run everyone. He had to reset. We can start all over again. Just an hour and 10 minutes in, we're just gonna start over. Just a nice little reset here.
Oh, he reset! Oh, what's going on? Must not have liked his run!
And so, and by doing that reset, he can go through Grunny's lair and pick up some of the Jiggies in Grunny's lair that he didn't have already, such as that one there. Which is faster than going back down. He's going to activate some cauldrons, so that way he has a warp point to the end of the game. I'm pretty sure he's good on Mumbo tokens. Else he would have grabbed that one back behind the cauldron there. That doesn't take too long, but it's a bit slower than some of the ones along the way. And yeah, we're gonna be rolling deep. I have to grab some crispy crackers. So Rusty Bucket Bay, it's you know, definitely where things can go wrong, and has devoured some runs for people. But it feels so good when done right. And I'm pretty sure Hellfoes is going to have an exclusive RBD here. Oh.
La! We better watch out for those spinning blades. They can knock him off and you can fall down the hole.
What?
You can fall to his death. It won't be a very nice one. I'm enjoying this run so far. I have my milkshake filled to the brim.
Wow.
So I know, for example, like Stivy Bobo will just go nuts in this this gear segment, like this part, and he'll go for the like early cycle where like you jump on the like while the platform is like spinning around, he'll jump on it, and so does Hellfoes, and he makes it across with a rat-a-tat wrap there. It rolled pretty deep. He doesn't wait for the platform to stop and then jump on it. And that's what Hellfoes just did there. And he fell to his death!
That's right.
The spinning blades knocked him off!
Come on!
La!
So you know this, when you die in this game, you have to re-enter some of the rooms again. You have to recollect all the notes. So it's a little bit of a setback. I mean, luckily this is the first thing we do in Rusty Bucket Bay always. Because you don't want to collect a bunch of notes and then do this and then lose all your notes from falling to the bottom. That's no bueno. So, oh, he's not on the right cycle. I don't know. I know there is definitely some of the frustration maybe getting to Hellfoes. And he missed a note there. So this time he's going to have to wait a little bit on the platform, but he still kind of goes when spinning around. I mean, he's got some brass balls at least.
Oh.
And he's rolling deep for the marathon. Well, speaking of that, I need to make emote audios for some of these sub emotes. It's probably going to be working on. I have to do a lot of stuff after the marathon, as far as uploading all the videos, highlighting all the stuff, uploading, and then I have to adjust my channel. Now that I have sub button, I have to do some stuff, and then I also have to like make a whole new layout and.
Whole new layout.
Big fat dicks all over the place. So here, Hellfoes also has brass balls of fucking steel because while you're underwater here, on the toxic water, you take double. You lose your bubbles twice as fast, and he's gonna just go ahead and go under there and. Get the Genjo and the Jiggy and come all the way over and swim all the way over here. I definitely didn't get to that point because I was not feeling that confident in my my gameplay. So unfortunately, there's definitely been some mistakes in Rusty Bucket Bay, and he lost, a couple minutes to that death. So coming up, he's gonna hopefully he's gonna show off the quick jiggy here with the box here, and basically you don't have to kill the boss, you don't have to destroy it, you don't have to break the boss all the way. You just push him back with an egg here, and the jiggy will be there, and he's going to grab it and then get hit by the. Oh, he didn't get. So if you get hit by the box while grabbing the jiggy, you skip the animation, which is also a time save. But he had to have that little celebration happen there, and that's. It's a bit of a time loss as well. Dicks smacking my face, pounding my ass. Ah. Hamster, diggity, goose. Let's go, Hamtaro!
Diddy.
So Hellfoes did miss that Mumbo token that he wanted to get, and it's part of his route, so he didn't want to reroute and grab another one, so he gets that one right there. The wall poppers, the wall bastards. You try to stay in Talontrot and just slip past them, but I was really bad at that. Usually got hit when I tried to do that. But Hellfoes had an excellent room there. We got the boat jump, and that's pretty precise. To where if you fail it, you have to go all the way back up there and hit the switch again. So it's a little bit risky, but a player like Hellfoes is going to do a lot of the risky stuff in a marathon. Who gives a fuck? He's rolling deep. And he got it, he nailed it. Saves a good chunk of time, as opposed to climbing up the ladder and then fluttering across. So, I mean, in my opinion, it looks like Hellfoes is done with, RB. He wants to be done with it, so not happy with the Death Warp here. So he's coming to the end of it, and he's just gonna be glad to be done with this segment here. And again, like, a lot of times just being where the Jiggy's going to spawn will save you time, because you'll start up the celebration of getting the Jiggy immediately. So after hits 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, he's going to stand right where the Jiggy's going to spawn, and that saves a small bit of time, but it's free time save. So let's go. And so I know a lot of people have talked about, well, 100% doesn't collect all the Mumbo tokens and doesn't get the double honeycomb upgrade at the end, or doesn't require it, and so it's not truly 100%, or, and then they have like this max percent, idea that it should be a real thing or something, like you should have to do that, or you should have to, there should be a category that gets all Mumbo tokens, but just collecting all Mumbo tokens doesn't do anything for you after you've used gone through all of Mumbo's transformations. So, and you just have extra tokens that just sit there and do nothing. So, it's not really required by any means to get them. Hellfoes did grab an extra honeycomb there just to feel safe, I'm sure, because if he died, like one of those guys could have killed him right there. They do 2 damage. He had 2 health, and he had 96 notes. And had that happened, he would have had to redo a lot of RBB again, and it would have been pretty painful. Dying, with 99, 90, like any high number of notes is painful. So, be safe. In a marathon, I understand that move. See if he gets the Jinjo jumps in the water after doing the Jinjo and save some time here. Yeah, he got it to where he didn't have the jingle. And here, once again, we're going to have another Death Warp pipe.
Death Warp pipe.
After he grabs the last thing he needs here, he's just going to Death Warp, and it'll take him back to the beginning of the level. We're done with RBB. We're going to be going to what's intentionally the last level of the game, but he skipped Bubblegooch Swamp, and he'll have to go back to that. But Click Clock Woods is definitely definitely it's a cool level to see speedrun like quickly, because it's a very long level and there's a lot of stuff going on and there's multiple clips involved, and just like one of the clips could cost you like a minute just by not having to go back and get it, go for it, or not getting it at all and just having to do it intentionally. So there's the beaver clip, the house clip. So you clip into the house, and then you can clip out of the house and back to out of it. And then you also have a clip with the bee where you go out of the honeycomb, and it'll take you back to the beginning of the level. And you have another clip, like do a certain jump, and it'll go out of it, and then it'll clip in and go back to the beginning of the level. It's a lot of like just knowing where loading zones are and being able to get out of bounds and get to those loading zones and trigger them is, a big part of it. Isn't that right, Zelma?
Yeah! Gotta clip out of bounds like in my old dungeon run! Yeah!
And I mean, you're just seeing a lot of like flawless water drops, which is kind of tricky, if you don't practice it or don't know how it works. Oh yeah, Click Clock Big Wood, Big Thick Wood. No. Click Clock Hard. Dick Cock Wood. I mean, what the heck's going on? Yeah, I used to play this game, and it's what's basically the game that got me into speedrunning. Because you have an in-game timer for each individual level, and it was like fascinating, when this was like one of my favorite games to begin with, and then you could also be like, oh well, let's see how fast I can do this. Let's see, how low I can get some of these times, and then, when the Xbox Live Arcade version came out, and you had Xbox Live and all that, there was a leaderboard for all of that. But the Xbox Live Arcade version is shit, because you can't skip text boxes and all that, and it's slower. And I was like, how in the hell does this guy get such a low time on Xbox? And there's a leaderboard for that on Xbox Live Arcade for the best times, and it's actually quite a bit different, because for you to get all the jiggies and stuff, like you basically it didn't require you to get the honeycombs to be on a lot of those leaderboards, and it didn't require you to beat Grunny's or do Furnace Fun and beat Grunny. It just basically said, okay, how fast can you get all the jiggies, and how fast can you yeah, and then there's an individual leader level leaderboard too for Xbox Live Arcade, I'm pretty sure, for all levels. And basically you would during that time, I mean, this was 2010, not everything was found out, all the strats and stuff, and Xbox Live Arcade plays entirely different than the N64 version. Basically, for example, you would go into, you would cost more time to go into Gobi's Valley to get the speed shoes or something, for example, to make Bubble Goo Swamp go faster, or Freeze Easy Peak. You don't have to enter their one, and so and then you would try to narrow down those times and get the lowest time. I'm pretty sure that leaderboard still exists, but I don't have Xbox Live anymore, but that's one of the things that kind of got me into it, and then like getting those times down, and then it just like this was one of my favorite games, and I just like enjoyed like improving my skill level. But I haven't really been big in the community, for example, especially of recent, or big in the community at all. But this is just one of the games that pretty much inspired me to get into speedrunning, because I found it fascinating to like do better and find interesting ways to narrow down the time of individual levels and whatnot. Because it's like, oh, I want to have the best, Mumbo's mountain time on the leaderboard. Oh, I'm only a couple minutes behind, or oh, I'm only like 20 seconds off. How like, and then it's like, well, and then I like for the longest time I just kept looking up like, how do you skip text boxes on Xbox Live, or like how are they doing? Like, what are they doing? how are they beating me by 20 seconds? You must be skipping text boxes. There's got to be a way, but no, there's no way to skip text. And actually, Xbox Live Arcade doesn't emulate, like it doesn't have the lag that is on N64. So this game, especially if you don't adjust the camera in a lot of different ways, you will generate lag in this game, and like, and I'm pretty sure it depends on like how many notes are on, or collecting notes, or just how much stuff's on screen. If you can move the camera away from a lot of that, or zoom it in a lot of places, you actually save a lot of time on N64. But yeah, he's got to collect a certain amount of worms. Again, if you're doing if we're talking like max percent, like I wonder if collecting all the worms would be a thing. But don't they reset like in levels? So he's got to collect a certain amount of worms. He doesn't have to collect them all. He just has to collect the ones that are convenient along the way to get to Eerie, and feed Eerie the bird. So there he tried to not have to kill the bird. The first bird that you kill will basically, it'll show him getting hurt and jumping out there and then falling out of the hole, and you'll have to sit there and watch that. So basically you have to avoid doing that. Here he's going to do a jump, and he's got really low health, and if he falls there, it's basically ripped. And basically, the biggest enemy there is your camera. If you have a bad camera angle when you do that jump, you may not know like where the platform is or where you need to be jumping, and that's big. I mean, obviously, if you run the game a lot, you try to adjust the camera the same way or do things the same way there, and it should never happen. Or you should weave out like what works and what doesn't, but. For example, if you get a camera angle that you're not used to, but you don't want to spend the time to, sit there and set up your camera angle or something, you want to make that jump. If you fell there on that jump, like, he would have fell all the way to the bottom, and Clicklock Woods is the nastiest level to have to recollect notes on. It is a headache. Because, like, you have to just sit there and think, like, okay, well, I don't need to, go in this. It only has there's no notes in here. I don't need to go there. And then it's like, well, and it's almost better to just redo things entirely how you normally would, than to sit there and think, okay, I need to get these notes. There's no notes here, but there's a jiggy that I normally, so I don't have to go there. And then you might forget something, and then like the biggest thing, and is like if you have like 99 notes or something, and you don't know where you missed a note, and you have to go back and find it somewhere. That is that is like the worst feeling, especially in like a marathon setting run, or like in a race, or in the like an tourney race or something. You like let's say because you're doing a lot of jumping in this game to presumably go faster. But let's say you jump over a note on accident and you don't notice that you missed it, and then you come to find out that you don't have all the notes at the end, and you have to go back. That's why me in particular, like I would track like how many notes I have, like everywhere I go. I would check to make sure I have the right amount of notes. Like I'd be like, oh, I need like there. Hellfoes had 35 notes. I'd be like, okay, that's a cue that I'm on the right track. That I didn't miss one, and things aren't out of whack here.
Isn't that right, Zelda? Yeah, you don't have to go back and redo some of the level again. You don't have that happen in a speed run.
So Clicklock Woods does have the most clips of any level, like clipping out of bounds. So you'll be seeing Hellfoes do a particular clip with a beaver, I'm pretty sure, and basically there's two parts of the clip. There's clipping into the beaver's house, and then there's clipping out of it. And clipping out of it is definitely the more difficult part. Clipping into it, you have multiple tries because you can just go right back to the fly pad. The second, you can't, like, if you land while in air on the second part of it, there's just no going back. You have to, go back. You need to collect the stuff normally. Which is basically in wintertime, the water's froze over, and you're supposed to basically go underwater where it takes double of your air. It takes twice as much while under the freezing water, and there's basically one spot to come out of the water, and there's a clip. You can clip out of the water as well, but in a marathon setting, it's not something you want to have to end up doing and rely on getting a clip or dying and then losing all your notes, because most people route not collecting all the notes. When I was doing the tournament race, pretty sure it was towards the beginning, it was like mid last year, like March, or no, it was like May maybe. The tournament might have been April. But I would collect 100 notes before the end of it, so just in case I screwed it, because I would screw up the clip into the beaver's house, and then I'd have to do and then I would be like shitting bricks. If I did, and I think I did. I didn't get the clip in one of the runs, but I had all 100 notes. I had to go back and get the Jinjos again. It's a pain. So I can tell Hellfoes is a bit frustrated with some of the mistakes in this run. He's made some mistakes that have cost a good chunk of time. But he's still going to get a really good time. And you can tell by a lot of his movement and a lot of the stuff, and a lot of the risky stuff that he's going for, that he's on there's a lot of skill involved. Squirrels nibbling on nuts, putting nuts in their mouths. So I do have to prepare my body for the next run. We have Demko, and he's going to be doing a very, very, very exciting, adrenaline-pumped run, an individual run of GoldenEye, individual level. It's only going to be 53 to 55 seconds. And during that 53 to 55 seconds, I think I'm going to have to put up a webcam on the Rollin marathon and attempt chugging 2 beers. And these aren't 2 normal-sized beers. These are 24 ounces. Okay, these are...
What?
Normal is like, what, 16 or 12 or something? And then... Basically, if I chug 2 of these, this is like 3 or 4 normal-sized beers. I don't know if I don't know if I can handle it, honestly.
Cool.
Within 53 seconds, like I might die. I might actually have some liver.
Do the hard part.
Yes. But I was saying earlier, this used to be the last level, and this was the intended last level, but because of the new routing, Hellfoes does have to go back to Bubble Goop, and he has to do Bubble Goop Swamp, because he did the Freeze Easy Peak clip. Unfortunately, the Freeze Easy Peak clip was not cooperating with Hellfoes in this run, and is where the first big mistake of the run was that clip. But it's not an easy clip to do, especially in a marathon. So. And like here, for example, he has 2 health. If he like falls off here or something and dies, he doesn't have all the notes. He has to recollect them all. Like, there's a lot of scary moments in Banjo-Kazooie marathon or like race setting runs, because if you die and you have not collected all the notes, that could be a 10-15 minute mistake, like no joke.
Oh, that's not.
And right now, he has 80. Oh! He jumped off the cliff, didn't grab that note, had to go back for it, for example. Let's say he jumped too far off the cliff, fell off the cliff, fell to his death, and he lost all 81 notes. I mean, he fell there! Oh! But he fluttered and saved his ass. He needed to grab all the notes there. Like I said, this is a stressful part of the run. It's like this winter in Click-Clock Woods, where it's mostly done, with the flight pad, and you're at high altitudes, Blunt Bunny. You're at high altitudes, and it's.
My dick's at a high altitude. Whoa.
Well,
at least things are looking up for you. Okay, so. He's trying to grab this Jiggy while in midair because it skips the animation, but he had to wing it. He had to fly back around to do so, and oftentimes, especially for newer players, you end up wasting time trying to do that because you'll just be flying around in circles trying to grab a Jiggy, and you won't get it, and you might as well have just landed and played the jingle out and did the celebration of getting the Jiggy instead of flying around a Jiggy for 30 seconds. Blunt Bunny, wouldn't you say so yourself, Mr. Blunt Bunny?
What?
I said...
Aren't you enjoying this run, Blunt Bunny?
So you got the first part of the clip into the beaver's house. He's going to have to grab the Jiggy. Ah, he landed! He landed! So now he's not going to be able to clip out, and now he has to exit the water. He's probably going to go for the clip. If he misses the clip, he dies under the water, and fucking all of his notes are gone.
that's the worst part.
Well,
But this clip is pretty easy, but sometimes it's finicky. Okay, got it.
I did it.
It's actually a pretty easy clip, but if your camera angle is not lined up properly and you're swimming up and you're doing things like you think it should be working, it won't work. And like I've seen runs. I've lost a run in a tournament actually, and people laugh at me. And so like right here. He has 1 health. 1 health. I mean, if some unexpected, enemy just happened to pop out like these birds and kill him, I mean, he's dead. Boom! Bam! Blasted with 95 notes right now. Ooh, like right there, that was sketchy to me. That was sketchy. He missed like the initial Rattata wrap, and then he was like really close to the hitbox of taking damage there. And he was right before the last 2 notes, and he could have died to that, or he could have fucking died. So there, he pooped a couple eggs into that hole, and then the bees damaged him during that cutscene, and now the camera is wigged out, and now he's moving while this camera is locked into place, and he's moving in a specific way. He's going to enter into Mumbo's hut. He should be entering. Yep, there he's good. So knowing the specific inputs you need to do, you can enter this hut, and that's definitely an advanced strat. Only the good runners do that. Like if you're like me, you won't do it because But if I were to run this game again, I'd probably have to learn it.
Who?
So the rest of this is done as the bee. While you collect Jiggies as the bee, you don't have the celebration of being the Jiggies.
Ah, yeah.
Trying to get in that beehive. So you grab what's left of here, you clip out, and that's it for CCW. We got through it, we didn't die. So that's a win. He's gonna clip out. It's a perfect clip. Like that was like instant clip.
Also.
Very, very, very impressive there. And then now he's gonna have to go back to Bubble Goop Swamp because he skips that. He's also gonna clip into. Okay, so he's clipping through there as the bee, and that rolls pretty deep. So now I can do a lot of this as the bee, collect a lot of these Jiggies as the bee, skip a lot of the Jiggy celebrations, and here, your boy Zelda would be loving this right now. This is all out of bounds. He did it himself in his All Dungeons run. He was just out of bounds, just, clipping out. And here we got Hellfoes. He's just in this void, this black void of just emptiness, and just clipping around, clipping about. And he's just going around. He's collecting all these Mumbo tokens, collecting all these Jiggies, clipping in and out of bounds like a boss, and just buzzing around. He's buzzing with his cousin on some Jack Daniels or some Captain Morgan here, just feeling good. Buzzing hard off some fucking alcohol, like we're all about to.
Gonna do some money.
So all of these Jiggies.
Yeah, I like this bee tech now, where you can just fucking use the bee to get all the Jiggies. Skip
instead of collecting the Jiggies and going do doodly do 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 and do every time and having to wait for that. Here you just roll up and grab it and roll out. He's also going to clip into Bubble Goop Swamp, so he doesn't have to open. He doesn't have to put the Jiggies into the puzzle. He should be getting it soon. It's just not working for him. Not an instant clip. And then you do Bubble Goop Swamp as the bee. Fly around. Deedly deep 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 deep.
Blah 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 blah.
Oh, maybe the Death Warp. Oh, Death Warp height. Oh, he missed the egg shot into the Golden Croc. Come on, Hellfoes. Ah, see, once you miss that first shot, and then you can't time it right. You have to like shoot when the mouth is closed, and then it'll open.
Oh, the mouth is closed. Oh.
Yeah, and then it was closing on him right before he can get his eggs in his mouth, so that wasn't good.
Wow.
I think another big part of you doing Bubble Hoop Swamp late is that you can damage boost a lot more because you have a lot more health.
Damage.
And so a lot of these notes and stuff that are in the swamp, he's not going to have to, put on the green boots or use gold feathers to get. He's just going to just damage boost it all. So here, he's just going to grab those notes, and he's just going to not give any fucks and just lose all of his health in the process and say, you know what, I have all these honeycombs, time to stop being a bitch and start using them for something that goes fast and speeds things up here in this speed run.
The speed run?
And like I said, the egg and feather count is very tight. He has 0 eggs at this point, and he's picking up those eggs. But he knew that he had that egg for that shot, and had he missed that egg shot, he would have been screwed. And he did miss a few eggs in the first Croc's mouth, and so that's part of the problem. So at any point you screw up anything involving eggs, anything involving feathers, you have to keep a close eye on your count of feathers and eggs and make sure you're good for what you need to do. And so here he's only got 2 gold feathers, for example. And this is the green leaf here with another green leaf production. So here he's going to try to overlap 2 cutscenes, one being shooting the egg into the Croc's mouth, and the other being hitting the Grunny switch, and he's going to try to overlap them because he rolls deep. And you gotta love how we now do the crocodile minigame at the end too. So he didn't get oh no, maybe he doesn't. Okay, no, you don't need to hit the switch now. Is that what it is? Because you've already got the Jiggy. Yeah, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't play this game anymore. Back when I played the game in 2011, well, that used to be some speed tech. that used to be some, some good stuff, man. Some good herb.
I was talking shit to you, damn. I was like, do you want me to do the commentary? It's like, he had to hit the grunty. He didn't have to hit the grunty switch, come on! Commentator's playing with his nuts, come on.
Well, bottom line, Bubble Goop Swamp is not my favorite level. Especially when those fucking dragonflies do dumb shit like that. And cut you off and you're trying to fucking spit an egg into somebody's mouth.
Oh!
Here, the memory match game is another reason why I wasn't very good at this speed run, because you have to memorize these turtle patterns, and you know, me having a short-term memory at the time because I smoked a lot of weed, wasn't very easy for me. Also, he can. Whoa! He flew up in the air like a fucking. So when he started that, man, I think he did some shit where he started, you know, already started that shit up and hitting the turtles while they were showing what pattern it was. So that was that's some speed tap right there. So, like I would have to sit there with a notepad, or I'd have to sit there and write down like, what turtles, or else I would fuck this up. I mean, me trying to memorize, like, it's like playing, what's that game, Simon, what's that game where you push the red, green, yellow, and blue button, and it goes beep, boop, boop, boop.
Simon Says?
Boop. That's Simon Says. It goes beep, boop, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop. I wasn't very good at that game either, blunt on. I go, yeah, bop it, is that what it is? I wasn't bopping it very hard. It's like, come on! Do they even have those anymore? I don't even think kids even fucking play with shit like that. I mean, you've got fucking, you know, Xbox fucking millennial fucking consoles and shit. And so he's intentionally taking damage, I'm pretty sure, because he wants to... Death Warp at the end, I think you should be damage boosting in the swamp a few times because you don't have to put on the boots and take them off. Like here he's going to damage boost a little bit. Because that will pretty good. And that's part of the flavor of having all these honeycombs and being able to do something with them, like instead of just getting all these worthless fucking hearts in Link to the Past, for example, and then just fucking being a bitch and getting an extra one in the Sanctuary. But we're pretty close to the end of the run as far as soon as he finishes up Bubblegoop Swamp, he just needs to do Furnace Fun and defeat Runny. We're looking at, you know, something a little over 210. Really just depends. Like Furnace Fun can be a headache, and I don't know. I didn't see Hellfoes talk to any Brentildas or anything like that. I might have missed it if he did, but basically you can set up the calculator and figure out what the running questions are gonna be based on that calculator, and if you don't know any of the shit going into it, then you're just guessing and hoping and praying that you're not guessing the wrong thing and you guess the right thing, and that can stack up some time loss and even have a death warp involved if you really fuck up, like, you know. But here we have the vile minigame, and he's set up to death warp after it, and if you die to the dragonfly, for example, while trying to collect all the stuff, without collecting all the notes, you're gonna have to collect them all again. So that'd be a fun watch. All those. Just grabbing some of these eggs and feathers and whatnot while this mini game's happening. I would think for Marathon, when he gets to the end, he's going to grab both blue eggs and the red feather refill, but I could be wrong about that. He's definitely probably going to go for the blue egg refill. But if he gets the red feather or not, it's going to be a question mark.
Good.
I better just basically pull off the beers and warm them up, because I don't want to have a brain freeze here when I chug them, so that's all I gotta do.
Yeah, this is like the last level, right? And then he's got to do Furnace. Busting out.
Oh! Yeah, you need the egg upgrade for the refill for sure. The red feather one depends on your feather count and how you're feeling. If you're feeling confident, and I know Hellfoes is pretty confident in his gameplay, but in a marathon setting, the last thing you want to do is run out of feathers and look like a jackass. So it's a question mark whether he's going to get it or not for me. The Vile minigame is just takes a long time, and it's why it's probably one of the most annoying parts of this game. Things in this game that they added this, but it's just part of Banjo-Kazooie, and that's a big part of it. Is like there's just a lot of mini games to get important stuff in the game, and all Banjo-Kazooies have it, and even more so in Banjo-Tooie. It seems like they upped their ante and like tripled or quadrupled the minigame bullshit, but like at least there's some fun minigames in Banjo-Tooie. Like you have this first-person shooter mode in Banjo-Tooie, and they tried to make it, like they tried to emulate, 007, which we're gonna be seeing soon. And whoa, that dragonfly got hooked. He had 99 notes, and the dragonfly just whizzing past him. I mean, had that dragonfly, did a little flyby there and killed him, he would have had to redo Bubblegoop Swamp and all the 100. He would have had to get all 100 notes again. But now we're all good. We have everything, and we're ready to finish the game. We'll see what kind of a time we're looking at. I think it's going to be a little bit under sub 2:15, but not too much far off that. Like there were some mistakes that cost minutes. He fell to his death in Rusty Bucket Bay, and he could not get the Freezy ZP clip, like he wanted to. He did eventually get it, but that cost him a few minutes. And then these little minuscule time saves that he hasn't been capitalizing on all of them, but it happens. It's Banjo-Kazooie. It's a pretty tactical game, and it's hard to get a run where everything just clicks in this game, especially when you have this fucking shit in the speedrun furnace fun. And let's say you have a perfect run, it's flawless Bump Bunny, and then you get here, and then what's that in the lake? A dead run?
So I think that's Stiv's favorite type of run.
What color ginger is that? A dead ginger run?
No.
Was he actually saying that?
he was.
I know he was saying. I remember him saying the dead run thing floating down the river.
We said,
Floating down the river.
Granny asked, "What's in the lake?" Oh, it's a dead run. It's just like he was like super solved every question. It was just like, "No, what color's it done?" Well, this is a dead fucking run down there. Or like that question was like, "What? How much dung?" He's like, "Oh, this run smells like dung or something."
It's a fucking hard speed run, dude. Especially
Look
at
at
a
the
high.
screen. Where have you been? Oh, this is where the run died. Well, it's just really a pain when there's a lot of question marks in this furnace fun. Whether you get the runny questions right or your calculator set up. Because at like a really high level, I think you don't even want to speak to Brentilda at all, and you just kind of want to wing it on these questions. But like right there, I'm pretty sure. Okay, you got it, but.
My guess is he's just gonna guess the grunty questions, right?
He got that one right, so. I did. The thing is, I did not see him talk to Brentilda, but I may have missed it.
I don't know which ones you actually talk to. I don't think you talk to all of them. I think you just type them in this.
Talk to like one of them, and you like at a high level, like you see like the first word of the sentence, and then you exit out of the thing. And I wasn't at that point either. And then you like fill in like immediately. They're like. So he's thinking about it, so I don't think he knows, but he got it. Or maybe he looked at his calculator. Like I think he did talk to them until one point. So here, this is the first fun skip, and basically if you stand in the very top right corner of that skull, and then you get the question incorrect, basically the game tries to knock you off the board, but if you're standing correctly on it... Ah!
Well,
that doesn't happen if you're standing in the correct spot.
Ernest.
Yeah. Well, I can assure you that Hellfoes is not having very much fun in Furnace Fun. So that he attempted to do the Furnace Fun skip. Now, if you stand in the top right corner, like you basically get one small bare foot, like half of his bare foot on, like you barely get your little bare foot on the top right corner, and you get like as close to the top right corner as possible. And I don't know if the direction you're standing is in a certain way. I used to just always do it the same way, and it would work out. And you fail that question, and it'll try to knock you into the lava, which it knocked him in the lava, which is intended. The game intends that to happen, but you basically want to unintentionally land back on the board. And at that point, the whole board is disabled, and you can just freely run across the board. And because the game's set up to where if you go on the tile that you haven't done, or you haven't done the question for, it'll stop you from going any further tiles. But basically, that whole, like all the invisible walls and whatnot are disabled when the game thinks you're dead, or when that happens, because when that tries to knock you off the board, it basically takes off that invisible wall that's there, if that makes sense, and then you can freely get to the end of this board. And it also skips the credits that takes a long-ass fucking time. So it's like, there's no not doing it in a speed run. It would lose a billion years to not do the skip. You'd have to wait out the credits, and they're fucking long.
It's like dick.
So there, he failed that. He didn't know which voice that was. It must have been a dead voice in his ear. Dead run. Somebody told him his run was dead. So I did say this was gonna sub 215, but after that, that was that easily lost him like 3-4 minutes. I'd say it was bad. And I'm sure the salt is pouring. So here, hopefully he gets it right this time. You his setup just looks janky to me. The way he's saying he's just probably really sketchy about it because he failed last time, and hopefully he has the right positioning this time. I don't want to see him die again. Okay, he got it. The second time. So we're in there now. But that was a very unfortunate thing to happen. So there he goes around the cauldron and wants to make sure he doesn't activate it because it stops him from moving and it's slow. So you don't want that. And there he's got all these extra jiggies because he didn't have to activate a lot of the other puzzles. Normally you should only have, like, what was it, 6 jiggies left.
You don't have to do the Freeze Easy Peak one or the
Bubble Goo Swamp. So that's 2 puzzles you skip having to fill in. And he's going to grab the eggs. I question whether he's going to get the feathers or not. I think he's pretty low on his feather count, but we're just rolling him out anyway. He's not getting the extra feathers. So, he's doing a lot of risky stuff to save, you know, a couple seconds here and there. But unfortunately, he has made some mistakes that have cost him several minutes. And this definitely doesn't showcase where his time, like his what kind of a time that he can get, because I'm pretty sure he can get a 2:05, 2:06 in this game, but he has made some unfortunate mistakes. This runny fight, we'll see how this goes. This is the final part of the game. Time is coming up.
I got you, fam.
Is it time for the Ginginator?
It's time for the coup.
It's time for me to have a liver failure. So you got the first hit on Grunny with the fly, with the big bomb. You got the second one in. From there, it usually just clicks because she throws more fireball. Oh, he missed. You have to keep an eye on that feather count. He actually did have a lot of feathers. Okay, so he's good. Get the bullshit part over with. This next part here, he's going to try to activate the statue. He's gonna shit out a bunch of eggs, and hopefully the statue activates while it's coming up, because then he... Oh, man. Oh, no. No. But what that does is basically, while all those statues are rising up, you also have the first cutscene that plays when you activate the first Jinjo statue, where he's yawning and hits Runny. Basically, both of those cutscenes overlap and happen at the same time, and that saves... You know, it might even be 15. It's like 10, 15 seconds. Yeah. Here, you know, he's standing back pretty far and shooting these eggs in the statue, and he's just got blue eggs of fucking steel here, and he's just putting them, you know, right in Grunny's mouth, just forcing them in. I'm gonna change this command, and then have to change it again, and then change it again.
Oh, it's the last egg here, right? It's for time.
Yeah. When the statue's activated.
It was actually 2:16:17 or 15. Sorry, I split.
Yeah, I see on his timer on his screen is 2:16.
So it was actually 2:16. Nice run.
Here comes the big boy.
So we got a really long speed run next.
It's
GoldenEye.
50
Damn IL. Hope you guys are ready for that because it's gonna be the longest speed run I've ever seen. Even
Well, we did
long-
reach the 10 out of 10, 10 sub goal, which is for me to chug gear.
Nice.
So, and that was on camera too. So I guess I'm about to fire up full screen on my stream and pull that up. So good GG.
Yeah, nice
Hellfoes.
job, Hellfoes.
Nice run.
Alright, guess we'll go ahead if you're ready, Demko, we'll go ahead and get you set up.
Yeah, I have this stream up, and you can capture it whenever you want. The Discord should be captured through the stream as well.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna capture your... I'll just capture your stream audio,
Sick.
and that's it. Okay?
And then capture this full screen hype.
So, like, how much is it? Only like a minute? I love how the estimate was 47 seconds, and that would be like the gnarliest fucking world record of all time.
I guess RPG is just expecting a world record, so I would assume you would have to get a world record here.
For sure, I accelerated my hardware and everything. I should be able to get it.
Alright, perfect, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna swap streams now, and then I'm gonna let you know when I have the layout.